So this will be a different type of how will they affect MCoC, because Blarvel is the first champion who excels at these really long fights and isn't meant for the short form content. He might be able to do a couple things in war, but BGs isn't his specialty. And that's very interesting to me because this is a champion who wants to take those long fights. He has crossfight abilities that are really good too. He's not like J. Jonah Jameson, who's also a crossfight character, where JJ is kind of targeted at the short form content and doesn't really do insane in the long form content. Blarvel is like that, but he wants to play long form. He's not even a great short form character if you do ramp him crossfight, but he can still do some short fights with some of the cool utility pieces he has. But you're going to see in this video we're taking pretty large health pools for the entire time. The first fight I will show is a short fight though, because there are some utility pieces we can talk about in the short fight Kindred. And the immediate first one is a really nice start to his ability kit. It's the fact that all of his hits are non-contact, unless he's fighting a skill champion. So that's going to slow down how fast Kindred is going to place his infection charges on you, because he only does that when you make contact. And when Blarvel's hits don't make any contact, you can see the timer stays at 12, even if the pause is not active, which you could see earlier on in the fight. So that's a really good ability right there, and then he's got other Kindred countering abilities that we'll see in a moment. But as far as the basic ramp goes, if you're doing a shorter fight, you're going to place the overloads with your heavy, you'll refresh them with your special one, you also place withers with your special one, and you just want to get to these 60 antimatter charges, which you get in various ways. The main way is inflicting a debuff, which you do on most of your hits, with weaknesses on the lights, overload on the heavy, and stuff like that. And that's kind of the main way that you're going to be getting those things going. And then a cool ability that Blarvel has is in the Sig ability. When he would take direct damage, he's just going to get an indestructible, and then you just obviously don't take that degen damage once you get into that Nightmare Outbreak, which is really great if you ask me. So this Kindred is 1.2 million health, and we have 10 of our persistent charges online. Now what that means, we're going to get a couple cruelty passives, which is great, but the other benefit is we're getting some dormant antimatter charges, which will convert into regular charges once I activate a special. So we're getting into our first super mode that, forgive me, I don't remember the name of, a lot quicker. And that's definitely going to help us a lot in these fights. Even though they are bigger health pools, at least this specific fight, we can at least get into antimatter quicker, which means we're going to ramp up our cruelties faster, we're going to do way more damage, because the only way Blarvel can increase his attack is in that mode, and you will feel the attack increase quite significantly, especially when you drop the special 2s, which we can talk about right here. Special 2s are kind of weird because they slow down time, and like Viv, you want to tap right before the hit and you'll get these precisions. That's your benefit for tapping before the hit. And yeah, you're going to use those to do a bunch of damage on the special 2 and then have some really hard hitting basic attacks afterward. The special 2 itself hits incredibly hard because it increases the potency of your overload passives by 65%. So that's going to make all the red numbers that your special 2 does even more potent, and it's just a pretty fun time. So I'm going to go ahead and do my heavy attack here. One thing you can do with Blarvel is tap block right before the second hit of the heavy, which I don't always do, but it does refresh your overloads if you can get the timing right. I did find the timing honestly pretty difficult, but it's still something that once with practice you'll be fine with. So here I just intentionally eat hits so I can get to 1 bar of power, and then just drop the special one and break out the root. Because I had the indestructible, I could just eat hits if I wanted to, just to get that power, so that helped a lot. And yeah, that's the 1.2 million Kindred dead in under 2 minutes. It's not bad, it's not the fastest thing ever, and you're gonna see he's much better at the health pools that are like 3 to 8 million, because then we go ahead and use the special 3s, which is when things really get crazy. But before we do that, we're going to look at this destroyer here, and there are a couple utility pieces that I will show off in the destroyer fight. Firstly is the withers. You place a wither on the final hit of your special 1. You get 2 of them, and they are 20% potency each, which immediately just doesn't sound great. That means you can only get 40% potency on the withers, right? Well, they are further increased by an additional 30% when the opponent is above 2 bars of power. So if you add 30 to each of those 20s, then you're going to get 100 in total. And that means that once Destroyer gets into his Giga power gain phase, if he's at 2 bars, he's not going to go red, which is kind of the reason that they're really helpful. Now, you do need to use the special ones if you want to keep the withers up, so it does become a little bit stressful at times to keep them going, because you don't refresh them on the heavy attack like you do the overloads, if you land that block correctly. So that is a little bit frustrating. It means you do have to be a bit more careful of when you're weaving in your special ones, and if you want to use your special 2 for damage and stuff, but in Destroyer's case, we don't always need to have the wither active, so that is an example of when you don't always need to have it all the time. It's just there for when you do, once he gets into his power gain mode. So anyway, he goes down there, and then we'll go fight Labyrinth of Legends Jane Foster now. So we do have a little bit of prior ramp. You can see we have 15 persistent charges from fighting the Starlord beforehand. So let's see how ridiculous his damage is in this long form fight with a little bit of ramp going on. And to be honest with you, I don't think that the crossfight ramp is insane. Like, I think that it's not necessarily the crossfight ramp that makes him feel crazy in these longer fights. It's just the fact that he's made for these long health pools, and once you get the special 3s going, your damage goes absolutely mental. So we did eat a special 1 there, which placed a shock on us. Kind of helps us a little bit, because what that does is when Larval takes energy damage, he actually will gain an anti-monitor charge every time he takes it, which probably has like a short cooldown on it. But yeah, I wanted to see the special 3 animation for this because I hadn't seen it yet. It looks pretty cool. But that's going to place a 25% passive overload, which is going to be really strong, especially when we go for the special 2s, because that overload is going to be further amplified, as I said earlier, because your overloads get more potent when you're in that special 2 animation. So we get 3 of these passive overloads, just like how we get 3 of the debuff overloads. So we do want to go for 3 special 3s usually. In this Jane, I'm only going to go for 2, because I knew I'd have enough damage to kill this only 3.5 million health pool Jane. But when we get to Necropolis Odin, which is the next fight, we are of course going to go for all 3, because that's a much bigger health pool, and we don't have class advantage, so we want to see all the fireworks from all 3 of those overloads and see his maximum damage potential. But you can see here, like, those heavy attacks, they hit very hard, and the medium attacks, they hit very hard. Everything's just going to start hitting very hard at this point. We are in our antimatter mode, whatever the thing is really called. We have a bunch of these cruelties, and once we get those precisions active, we're going to be able to utilize those cruelties to their fullest, and we can see the cracked special 2 damage because of the overloads getting even more potent on the actual special 2 itself. I say that, and of course she frickin' evades the first hit of the special 2. So we'll have to see on the next special 2 how great the damage is. That's Labyrinth of 8 is so frickin' stupid, man. I'm so glad that's not there in the Necropolis, because it was horribly stupid. Anyway, I go ahead for a heavy attack here, and it does a really large chunk of damage. This guy reminds me very much of like a Sentry that I actually want to play, because he doesn't feel as bad on ramped as Sentry does, in my opinion. And I don't think his ceiling is as high as Sentry, but he feels a lot more tolerable to ramp up and just use in the ramp up process, in my opinion. I think I like this guy a lot more than Sentry, and I'm really excited to say that with the new AQ Rampart Revolution content coming out, Splarval might be a really fun pick for that once we can get our hands on him. So now we're going to go fight Necropolis Odin. I skipped up the ramp here. You can see we have our 3 overload passives now, and we're going to go ahead and utilize their damage to the fullest. Our heavy attack there did 70,000 damage on the final hit, a little bit more than that on the final hit if you add the overload damage to it, which of course we will. And then you can see this Odin is going to start melting, especially once we get our precision's going to take advantage of the cruelties. Anyway, we don't have any prior ramp to this fight like we did against the Jane, so the damage is immediately a decent bit worse than the Jane because we don't have as many cruelties as we did against her, and still we don't have class advantage, but also our damage is just going to be so good anyway, it doesn't really matter. As you're going to see, once I continue to get these cruelties going, it's going to feel really nice. Basically, once you're in your super mode, you are going to gain a cruelty every 8 seconds, which is super good. When you're not in the super mode, it's every 20 charges you gain, I believe. 20 antimatter charges, of course. And yeah, like, this mode is going to run out eventually. It's not meant to last forever, similar to Photon. One of the 10 similarities this guy has to Photon. But yeah, it's pretty nice, and we can get back into our mode relatively fast. Basically, I found the best way to get back into the mode is just spam the special ones. It does give you a pretty decent amount of charges on the attack. It's also keeping your overloads refreshed and stuff, so you don't need to worry about weaving in your heavy attacks and stuff. And yeah, it's pretty simple. You just need to use a few special ones, and then you'll be back in the mode, relatively fast. It probably takes 30-40 seconds, but it's not too bad. Especially with how long you can actually stay in the mode once you get there. So I go ahead and do a heavy attack here, refresh and pause my overloads. Again, didn't really need to because I'm spamming special ones anyway. Actually, I might be going for my next special 2 here, because we are very close to getting into the antimatter mode, so I can go ahead and launch that right here after I place that last weakness to get into the mode. And you can see the numbers in red are completely ridiculous. I was a crazy hard-hitting final couple hits of the special 2 as well, and our basic attacks don't feel any worse either. That was like 80,000 damage on the final hit of that heavy, and we just punch really hard. It's super cool. So I really like Blarvel. I like how he's a long-form designed science champ. There aren't an insane amount of those in the game. Like, we have Sentry, who most people kind of hate, myself included. We have Anti-Venom, which a lot of people don't play. I love him, but that's another topic for another time. But Blarvel, I think, is going to be one of the best champions for crossfight content, for long-form content in the science class. And especially with the utility pieces he has, the non-contacts, the heavy attack can't miss is something I also didn't talk about yet. And on top of that, I think you can't miss in general once you're in your super mode. And then the withers are also super great. He's got bleed and power steal immunity. He's got energy resistance and stuff. There's a lot going on in this kit, utility piece-wise, that do make him a strong option for many pieces of long-form content that you might choose to take in the future. And I just hope that we get more of that released in the meantime. So, in summary, as I always do at the end of these videos, where should you play them? Not BGs. He's not a good attacker or defender in BGs. War, there's definitely potential there. He's got some cool things he could do for War, especially with his crossfight stuff. I'm not saying that he's going to make a huge impact on the meta there, but if he's given the right tactic or something, I definitely think he could see some playtime. But of course, the main place you want to take this guy is long form. It's going to be AQ Rampart Revolution. He's going to be great for Coliseum. He could be good for, maybe, depending on how much time you have left after you get those 3 overloads up, or if you just want to stick with 2 overloads. I think he's got some pretty decent potential for Coliseum fights, but we'll see how that turns out. And then, yeah, it's like Necro content and Coliseum content with a lot of different fights. I think that's what he's going to be good for. We just need more of that in the game, which I think is going to start happening soon. We've got Rampart Revolution. I'm sure there's going to be more long-form content coming in the future eventually. I'm pretty optimistic on this champ. I definitely want to rank him up on my main account, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Here's the giveaway instructions. There will be 2 winners from this video, just to make sure there's enough time for you to use your code before time runs out and you can't use it anymore. So I will pick 2 comments to win this one. Rules are the same. Like and subscribe. Comment your favorite Ascension champ and ideally why. It makes it a lot more interesting. And then have a Discord account to be able to contact me. You have 24 hours after I reply to you on YouTube, and then you'll just be asked to upload an unlisted or public Winter Soldier fight after that is over. And then just send it to me, and I'll give you your code. So anyway, thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.